In the small African village of Boalo, there lived a young woman named Ilhande. She was just 21 years old, but life had not been easy for her. She lived with her parents and 5 other siblings in a small mud hut, struggling to survive on the little they had. Ilhande spent her days working in the fields, tending to the family's cattle, and doing whatever she could to help support her family. Despite the hardships she faced, Ilhande was known throughout the village for her kindness, innocence, and her beauty. She had a smile that could light up even the darkest of days, and a heart that was always open to those in need. Everyone in Boalo loved her, and she was a source of comfort and joy for all who knew her. On her 21st birthday, Ilhande's father dropped a bombshell that shattered her world. He had arranged for her to be married off to a wealthy old man from a neighboring village. Her father was to receive a substantial sum of money and cattle as a dowry for his daughter's hand in marriage. The man was known for his beastly appearance and harsh demeanor, and he already had 5 other wives and several children. Ilhande's heart sank at the thought of being forced to marry such a man, but her father's word was final. He was not open to negotiations, and she dared not question his decision. As the wedding preparations began, Ilhande felt a sense of dread wash over her. She knew that once she was married, her life would be nothing but hardship and misery. She longed to experience a love that was pure and true, not a marriage of convenience arranged by her father for financial gain. On the day of the wedding, Ilhande just stood before the altar and gazed at it in despair, her heart heavy and sad. As she gazed into space, she felt extremely lost. She knew that her life would never be the same, and the thought filled her with a deep sense of sorrow. She was sad to think that her father had sold her off for 100 cows, sheep, and goats, and started questioning her worth. As the day of the wedding ceremony drew close, a growing sense of desperation washed over Ilhande. Then suddenly an idea came to mind, and she felt a sense of relief and determination as she ran home. With tears streaming down her face, she made a bold decision that would change the course of her life forever. Breaking free from the grip of her father, she ran as fast as she could through the village, desperate to escape the fate that had been thrown upon her. For days, Ilhande wandered through the wilderness, surviving on what little she could find. Her lips were dry, her clothes were tattered. She longed for a place where she could be free to live her life on her own terms, without the constraints of society's expectations weighing her down. Then, after what seemed like an eternity of running, on one fateful day, she stumbled upon a small hut on the outskirts of the village. There she met a kind old woman who took her in and showed her the love and compassion she had always longed for. In the weeks that followed, Ilhande found solace and a motherly love in the company of the old woman, who taught her the ways of the world and the power of kindness and innocence. She learned that true love was not defined by society's norms or material wealth, but by the purity of one's heart and the sincerity of one's actions. As time passed, Ilhande's wounds began to heal, and she found herself at peace with the choices she had made. She knew that her decision to flee from her arranged marriage had been a difficult one, but it had led her to a place of peace, true happiness, and fulfillment. And as she looked out at the endless expanse of the beautiful African savanna, she knew that she was finally free to live her life on her own terms, guided by the moral of her story, that love cannot be forced or bought. It grows naturally when nurtured with patience, kindness, and sincerity.